Pennywise the Piper Clown stole the kids and away he went. Oh boy, we are at the end, folks, and what an end it was. Welcome to Derry, Episode 8, Winter Fire is the finale of Season 1 / Chapter 1. Oh boy. Man, after Episode 7, I was worried how they were going to top that, or at least try to equal that, and with end references and just a lot of emotion, and tying in to the future, and also giving us a glimpse of what could happen in the past. It is going to be interesting to see what they do with chapters / season 2 and 3. Here we are. What do you guys think of this show? Let me know in the comments. So this is the end for us, my friends, until season 2. We do the recast. We see how tough of a night Rich was, sacrificing himself. God damn it. That's what knights do. They protect the fair mate. God damn it. And then the mist fog basically hits Derry. It's rotting away plants. It is getting people. And yeah, it's not all that good. Derry is totally fucked because they woke him up. They took away one of the pillars and they woke him up when he was going to sleep. And then they woke him up because the military doesn't learn. And yeah, we get basically any kids that are under 18 brought to the goddamn assembly, or the auditorium for an assembly, and we see the principal that is being used as a puppet, principal puppet as it were, and then we get the Pennywise dance, and everyone is caught in the deadlights. He just took all the kids. He's like, okay, I'm going to take all your children. You don't want to let me sleep? Fuck you, I'm doing this. So there we are. Now Ronnie, Lily, and Marge basically have to try and save Will. Because if you remember at the end of episode 7, Will was caught in the deadlights. And we see just all the posters of all the missing kids, including the bully girls and all that. And we see Pennywise leading all the floating children with his little circus trailer thing while he's playing a tuba. And then the weapon got busted, and that was just too bad. So, now, yeah, we're kind of going a little bit goofy here, but they're trying to ride on a bike. 3 of them can't ride on a bike. And then Marge notices the dead milkman, and then notices a truck, and they take the truck. And it's kind of funny. And then Leroy Hanlon gets a call. What scares a man without fear? He hears his son is not doing well. And oh boy, things are not going to go too good here. So, there is one line that was certainly questionable that ramps up the racism. The dark meat tastes twice as sweet. Oh, Pennywise, what the hell? You weird alien clown. What the hell? So, Dick Halloran is still haunted to the point he's got a gun. He is about to pull a Chris Von Erich. Leroy basically begs him, it has Will, please help me. I will do this. I will do it myself to calm your voices, but I need your help. So, since Glacier is at the Derry, the blood is running cold. And Francis is being monumentally stupid again because he's not learning anything. So, we have a tie to the mist. Now we got Dick Halloran. You know, he's not going to die, given that we know he's in The Shining. But still, he's tortured by all this stuff. Charlotte is upset because her son got taken, even though Leroy Hanlon basically said that he was, they were going to be safe. And now they must find the dagger. Rose and Tanya are like, find the dagger, and then we will make the dagger another pillar, because it's a piece of the meteorite. And, oh yes, if he gets this Deadwood tree, and beyond that, that is outside the perimeter, and he'll be able to break free to do what he wants any old Pennywise time. So, essentially, we now have to have Rose use some roots to quiet the voices, and also give Dick his powers back, which he does. And he sees that Lily has the dagger, but the thing about the dagger is it just wants to go home, back to, 29 Neobolt Street. It wants to go back to that lair. Let's go back to being part of that whole layer. And that dagger is going to drive people more insane. It's going to amp up their greatest fears, their greatest weaknesses. Lily always worrying that she's going to go nuts. It's working on her. And Ronnie is trying to convince her, Lily, you're not a bad person. Just kind of has to knock some sense over. You're a goddamn lifeboat. Basically, you're saving us. You can help us. We will help you. We will do this together through the power of friendship, which is literally how they defeat him. And there's a number 3 on the dagger. More on that in a bit. So Pennywise, comes for them, but then the dagger, so he backs off. And then, mind you, they are in this, they're trying to rescue the kids, but they're also trying to take this dagger to the Deadwood tree. That's what they're trying to do. Well, first they're just trying to do this, and then they're trying to save. They're trying to save their friends, and they're trying to save Will, then they're trying to save the kids. And Pennywise is just there running around in the goddamn snow. And then suddenly, we get Marge being separated, because you got to keep them separated. Hey. And this is where we get what I probably should have guessed based on the Marge name. But we get, he gets a missing poster. And it's Richie. Not Rich that died. Richie from the new one. Marge is Richie's mother. And he says, him and his friends bring about his death. Or is it his birth? It all is the same, the little Pennywise. Because he's been there for so long. Time means basically nothing to him. Yes, he sleeps for 27 years and then wakes up. But he's been there for years and years, millennia. He's been there for so long. But then he does more just to seal the whole thing. Beep, beep, Margie. Beep, beep, Richie. And then suddenly Pennywise, it just stops. Stops with his jaw unclenched. Man. What the hell's going on? Why'd he freeze? Marge doesn't have the dagger. So, suddenly, the kids drop. And the kids are fine. We don't actually find out what happens to the kids, by the way, because it's seemingly like, they're just there in the ice field. It's a lake. It's a frozen lake, by the way. But Daniel and Leroy then suddenly say, hey, let's take the dagger together. So everything's going good, except we got a lot of time left. Then suddenly Francis joining the army and taking the army, and Daniel gets shot completely, so he's dead. Leroy gets shot in the leg, and then basically hands Will the dagger because there's mist and stuff going around everything, so Will can't see everything. The military can't see everything that he's saying to Will. He says, Will, take the dagger. I'm not like you. Will says, I'm scared. You don't have to be me. You don't have to be like me. I don't want you to be. You got to be you. And then we cut to more flashbacks during all this stuff. So Will and his friends have to take the dagger to that Deadwood tree. So take it to that tree, use the fog as cover, there you go. Suddenly we see Bob or Pennywise, when he first gets in Bob's body, he doesn't know what's going on. And shit's just all whack. Like, why in the world are we getting a flashback all of a sudden? And he... The 4 kids are fighting to team up and gradually go towards this thing. Because I think they paced this a little weird. Because it was a little bit silly, but then again, they're all fighting the elements. Francis approaches Pennywise. The dagger is resisting. Will basically is having fear. He's scared. His dad doesn't have fear. He does. And it's like, okay, you gotta turn me around. Don't turn around. And they're gonna gradually just go there. They're gonna force that dagger in there. They're gonna force. It's not going home. It's going under that goddamn tree. But then basically, suddenly, Bob Pennywise is like realizing, wait a second, I'm not Bob. What's going on here? He rips off the face, Tricky Dicky. And there we go. So it's Dick Halloran in his head with the voices quieted, and he was able to use his powers basically to stop Pennywise enough. And Francis, by the way, sees him and says, you're free. You can go ahead and go. And then Pennywise suddenly turned around. I know you. I never forget a smell. 1908. So Francis dies because he's stupid. I mean, really, what the hell did you think was going to happen with an otherworldly alien creature? What the hell? And then, Leroy I think actually it's Hank, but yeah, people are trying to attack and stop the military and stuff like that. And I noted, are the other kids just freezing in the middle of like the ice lake? I mean, just sitting there without winter clothes? Are they did we just forget about that? But then they were shooting Pennywise and, shooting his head off and trying to stop him and everything. There was a cool Jack-in-the-Box head that popped up. That was a neat little scare. And they're just going. The kids are going. Pennywise, he keeps getting shot and he's coming back, but it's slower, just slow enough. Then suddenly Leroy ends up in the deadlights because he runs out of bullets. And then they're going to put it in the ground, but not quite. They just can't do it. They're just not strong enough. They're almost there, but living on a prayer. And then the warrior woman, whose name I forget, and suddenly a familiar face. Rich is there. Rich runs by, he flips off Pennywise, and Rich's ghost helps him. And his final act, and they're going to place that in a tree. But then Pennywise is trying to grow the wings, trying to fly out, and he almost gets to them, and then boom, his other forms are peeling back, all that, and it peels back to Pennywise, and then he says, lively crowd. And then he goes back to sleep for a while. So they managed to trap him again. So that's pretty much it, but we still have quite a bit of time left, so we're going to get a lot of epilogue here. So we get some funerals. Well, we get one, Rich's funeral. Rich got to see his own funeral, which must have been weird. But Marge delivers a very nice eulogy. It was beautiful. Oh, even if you only know somebody for a month, the friends you know, you could know them for a little bit, feel like you've known them for a lifetime. And we finally get to see Rich's parents. We might have seen them in like one little brief clip. I don't totally remember. Again, 8 episodes of this, a lot of footage to go through. But the parents feel, a hand on their shoulder. Dick Halloran tells them, that's your son. He's always going to be there. Who are you? I'm still trying to figure that out, is what he says. And then Marge ends up finding his little plain deal in the tree. So it's pretty good here. We're getting some nice, neat little wrap-ups. We have Lily at her dad's grave. I made some new friends because her dad's death really affected her. And then they're talking because obviously Ronnie is going to go off with her dad. But we get Marge and Lily talking. It's like, what if he can go backwards? Because he mentioned about the fact that the son I'm apparently going to have, and that's why he wanted to kill me, and his friends are going to kill him. So what if he can go backwards? What if he can try to kill our parents? Hence why we're getting seasons 2 and 3. And there we are. So, okay, that gives us a nice little bit. We get to find more Easter eggs with season 2 and 3, which I think season 2 isn't out until sometime in 2027, and I doubt it's January 2027. So we're probably going to have to wait at least 18 months at this point. It's probably going to be at least May or June. I really actually hope they're already filming it. Well, maybe not right this minute, but hopefully they started filming some of it in October. Maybe they got a couple episodes done. We can just get something. I need my goddamn fix, man. So, don't do drugs, kids. So, that's wrapped up. That's indicated right there. And Dick Halloran is talking to Leroy and saying, I'm going to go here. Then I'm going to go to, work at a hotel that a buddy has. Going to give me a job as a cook at a restaurant. What's the worst thing that could happen at a hotel? Ha 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 ha. So, there you are. And then Rose basically offers Leroy and Charlotte a chance to stay with her, to pass along this stuff. It won't be out for another 27 years, but we can pass on this stuff because once you leave Derry, you forget about stuff. Hank and Ronnie are going to take off with the mother, well, grandmother to Ronnie, Hank's mother. They're going to go off to Canada, and others will try again, is what Rose says, and things aren't all that good. So yeah, things be fucked. Things be totally goddamn fucked. And of course, if you remember, with Rose, and other characters have said this, no one who dies in Derry ever really dies. And Charlotte at first says no about the offer. They're sitting in the goddamn car. And this is right after we see Will and Ronnie kiss. Oh, it's young love. So sweet. And Will doesn't want to forget this stuff. I mean, he wants to forget certain things, but obviously not Ronnie or his friends. So he's going to write to her while she's in Canada. And oh, it's really sweet. And there's that. Charlotte accepts the offer. They're going to stay there. They're going to tend to these sheep. Well, Leroy is, even though he's got a leg injury from being shot while trying to save everybody. And then we go to Juniper Hill, and Ingrid is not doing all that well. And things are just fucked. They have music that's on in Danish. Oh, it's just like her dad. And there we are. And we smash cut, and that's it. That's it, except a mid-credits scene. We suddenly get an older lady in 1988 painting, and then she looks. Could have been old Rose, could have been somebody else. I mean, looking, here's some shrieking. What the hell's going on? Stumbles down the hallway because she's old and sees the staff all upset, and suddenly sees a lady that had hung herself. And they keep saying the last name Marsh, and I'm like, oh shit. Suddenly, a father and daughter are, crying over that, and the father elbows the daughter and turns around. No one who dies in Derry ever really dies. Turns around. It's Sophia Lewis as Beverly. There we go. Boom. That's how you tie your shit in. That's what set the dad off even more with this stuff. And there you go. He's about to wake up, he's about to wreak havoc, and he's about to be he's about to get on a bunch of other impressionable young people. And that's how we're going to get it, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, before they ultimately kill Pennywise. Because with the way they handled him in the first part, and especially the second part, when they ripped him apart, yeah, he's pretty much dead. They were able to kill him, not because they feared him, because they hated him. Hate will dominate all. I didn't hate this show. It was certainly, there were a few clunky points, because you're going to get that with any series. But that being said, that is it for It Welcome to Derry, Chapter Season 1. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rittland. Until we go back to Derry once again, happy trails to you.